Yo guys, Dim here. Today I'm reviewing this trike that Tiniover sent to me. This is the Tiniover River trike. It's their only full suspension bike, so this comes with a front suspension and 2 rear shocks in the back. Interestingly enough, this is a folding bike. I don't know why they went with a folding frame. In some scenarios you may be able to fit this into a car, but even when you fold it, this thing is big. It takes up a lot of space, it takes up a lot of presence, which in some cases can be a good thing. Say when you're on the road and you want drivers in their cars to see you, this thing has tons of visibility. In terms of safety features, it's quite nice. And let's just get into the review. I'll go through all the features, I'll take it for a test ride, and I'll show you guys what this bike is capable of. If you decide to purchase any of the trikes from Tiniover's website, use the link in the description. It will get you a $30 discount using my code. So this is where we are at with this bike. Let me go ahead and turn on the lights. It has just one central brake light back here. That rear light also doubles as a brake light, so people know behind you when you're braking. It has a front headlight that's mounted to the basket, which actually is a little bit confusing because this basket does not turn with the wheel. So as you're turning the wheel, your headlight is still pointing straight, which, I mean, to me is a little less than ideal, because when you're turning you generally want the light to turn with you, so that is a bit of a downside. But the basket's pretty awesome. This thing has a lot of cargo space. So it has the basket in the front, of course, and then it has this huge kind of like carrier in the back. There's also a crate that it comes with that we can attach to here, and that crate would let us have even more storage on the back. So when I'm talking about the motor, I'm actually referring to this motor down here. So it's a very interesting design. You have what's essentially an e-bike hub motor mounted to the frame. So as you can see, it's just a regular hub motor, and they clasped it to the frame like as if there were dropouts there. And then on one side you have the input from you turning the wheel, and on the other side you have the output from your pedaling plus the motor's assistance. So the motor in there turns and it drives this rear axle, which is actually a differential, like in a car. So these rear 2 wheels can turn at different speeds, which is necessary when you're turning. That's really awesome, really interesting. But yeah, the frame is awesome. I mean, the welds on it look super nice. I'm very confident riding this frame that it's not gonna have any type of problems. It's not gonna self-implode while riding. So the quality on this frame is super high. So A+ for frame assembly. As you can see, there are coil-over shocks. So you have the shock in the middle and the coil spring on the outside, just like a regular car, sort of. And you have dual suspension. So you have one on this side and you have another one on this side. So your bike can kind of lean over, only absorb the shock on one side at a time, which makes for an even more kind of stable riding experience. But it does make it a little bit tricky when you're going sideways up hills. But I guess that's just the downside of the trike design. It's very weird to ride, especially if you've never rid a trike before. It's definitely a different experience from riding a regular 2-wheeled bicycle. Let's ride it some more to get a real feeling for it. So for reverse mode, it's a little bit weird. But basically, you hold the minus button and then an R pops up on your screen. And then if you hit the throttle, the bike goes backwards, and it is so awkward. And the cranks also move with you. There's no way to stop that. The cranks just move with you. And oh my God, it has so much torque going in reverse. Like, I'm going to climb this hill. So you have to go all the way down to pedal assist 0 and then hold the minus and then hit the throttle. And then the bike just goes backwards, and oh my God, is it awkward. It is scary, but also really cool and really useful for maneuvering. The horn, super loud, like obscenely loud, which is great for safety, of course. But like, wow, I've never heard that loud of a horn, and I'm pretty impressed with it. So let's see if we can climb this hill. Obviously, this is not a hill climbing bike, but we may as well just see what it can do for fun, right? This is a pretty steep hill, a pretty big slope. The nice thing is that if I fail the hill climb, I can just basically ride backwards and be fine, because with those 2 wheels in the back, you're like pretty stable. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to come down here, right here down to this flat section. I'm going to go into pedal assist 3, which is the max mode. I don't know if the full power is unlocked right now on this bike, but pedal assist 3, and then we hit our throttle. Let's go full throttle, and let's see if it gets us up this hill. Not quite, not quite. that is cool. I mean, riding backwards like that is cool. Yeah, but the awkward thing with riding backwards is that the cranks turn with you. All right, let's see if we can get up with a run up. Nope. This thing's not gonna climb this hill. This thing is heavy. This bike is heavy, I'm heavy, and it's not meant for this. But it is pretty cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun to mess around with. This bike is just fun because it's weird, but it's also practical if you have to like haul a lot. And depending on where you live, something like this might be perfect for you. You know, this is like closer to a mobility scooter than it is to an e-bike, really. Come on. All right, let's take it riding somewhere else. So right now it seems to be speed limited to about 15 miles per hour. That's the point at which it'll stop giving you more boost. Yeah, you got to be careful going up on curbs and around like mailboxes, because the back of this is so wide that if you're used to riding normal bicycles, you're going to be surprised at just how wide this frame is compared to a regular bicycle frame. So you got to be careful, and you got to be very considerate riding this. Now we can actually see how many amps we're pulling. So right now we're pulling 26 amps continuously. 26 times full charge is like 54 volts. And that puts you around like 1500 watts, like 1400. That's kind of crazy. I mean, this is a heavy bike, so the load is pretty big. It's going to need lots of power to help it get moving. But like, man, the steering is awkward, especially when you have to take tight turns. You got to go very slow. And just overall, you got to go slow. The side mirrors that it comes with are really nice. They give you a lot of visibility. The torque is so nice. This is closer to driving a car, or driving like a mobility scooter, you know, with the four wheels, than it is to like riding a bicycle. Super interesting, but super fun. The only thing I wish it had was some turn signals. I think that would really make this complete and much safer. And something especially neat is, like, since this is not a bike, this is a, you know, self-balancing three-wheeled vehicle. If you want to brake it, you just do this and put it in brake, and that holds it in place on both sides, and boom. Right now I'm parked on a downhill slope, and you can see that it's just standing there. It's really nice. Of course, you might still want to lock it up so it doesn't get stolen, but yeah. All right, I'm not gonna mess with removing the speed limiter on this, because, well, 15 is already quick enough, and on this thing you just can't make fast turns, and overall the maneuverability is not that great because it's not a bicycle. So I'm just gonna leave the top speed limit of 15 miles per hour. That is more than enough for a lot of people. Hill climbing though, like, this thing has so much torque. Going uphill, it has no problem. Even more than my other e-bikes, it just gets uphill. The brakes are amazing. I mean, you have 3 disc brakes, you have 3 wheels. Braking naturally is just gonna be like instant. It's like instantly you just stop, which is great. That's another really good thing for safety. A car can pull out in front of me, and just within a couple feet I'm already fully stopped. Here, I'll show you going downhill how quickly this thing can stop. People who want to carry a lot of stuff, people who want to get around safely, this is great for that. I love it for that. But if you're looking to get around, you know, fast, this might not be your thing. Braking, I'll go ahead and demonstrate to you just how good braking is. Look, here I am, right? I'm just chilling. I'm chilling on the top of this hill at, like, I don't know, a 30-degree slope. It's not a problem at all. I can even put the parking brake on. There you go. I'm just here. The bike doesn't move. The brakes are really, really impressive. Anyway, let's get back down. I'd say feature-wise, this is a very good e-bike. The horn is really good. The lights are decent. The brake light's pretty nice.
Only thing I wish it had, like I said, is a turn signal light. That would really complete everything and make this a lot more safe on the road. But as is, it's already quite safe. It's limited to 15 miles per hour. This is the type of bike that you could give to someone with supervision at first, because like I said, it's very awkward to get used to. But then once you're used to it, it's safe. You aren't worried on this bike about really anything. And you are visible. Compared to a bicycle, you're wider. Cars will naturally see you more often. You have the reflective lights on the back. You have the active light in the middle, and those will help you out too. The braking is not a problem. It brakes on a dime. Like, it's wild compared to a regular bicycle how fast you can just brake on this, because you have 3 tires, or you have 50% more tire contacting the ground, 50% more disc caliper contacting the wheels. So there you go. Immediately you stop so easily. All right, let's head out of here. The reverse is something. It's quite nice. You don't realize how useful it'll be until you start using it, and then it instantly clicks like, oh, let me reverse. That's a nice feature. And the torque, man, it's great. This bike is literally pulling around 1500 watts continuous, up to almost 30 amps of power. That's a good amount of torque. This thing would be fun to modify. I mean, like I said, going a high speed with this is terrifying, but we have so much traction in the back that we could get some incredible acceleration out of this. So I do want to do that in the future. I'm not gonna lie. I have some plans for this. Yeah, let's see what we can do going up and down this curb. I just want to see how the suspension articulates. So like, let's say I wanted to go up onto this curb. I would bounce. Oop. It's doable, but it will take some practice to get consistently. And let's see what it's like getting down from a curb. First, I'm gonna try going down straight. So just kind of the way that you normally would. There you go. Big thunk, but it makes it. Come on. All right, and now I'm gonna try. No, that's pretty clean. There you go. I mean, if you hit it with a little bit of speed and you time the suspension to compress right when you should, then it goes pretty smooth. So let's get down the curb the way that I think would make the most sense for people who aren't going crazy fast. I would imagine, right, you hit the curb at a bit of an angle, so you get the first wheel down, and then you do the rear wheels one by one. Oh God. There we go. I was just floating there for a second. Yeah, I mean, even going straight off is fine. Getting up is a bit harder, sort of naturally, right? What if we get up at an angle? Ooh, it's doable. All right, so in addition to this trike, Tiniover sent me a couple of accessories. This one is included with the bike. This is essentially just a cargo carrier that goes onto the rear rack here. They also sent me this product, which they sell on their website. This is a suspension seat post. This is a pretty generic component. A lot of companies sell this, but it's essentially just a shock for your seat post with a suspension. In addition to that, we have this backrest. This goes right here and provides support for your back while you're riding. I want to try this out. And finally, they also sell this seat on the website. I don't think it's included with the standard trike, but it's supposed to provide a much bigger cushion, as you can see, compared to the regular cushion, and a backrest, armrest. Looks pretty interesting, and it feels very premium. All right, so first of all, this suspension seat post, which is sold with the bike. So first off, we're gonna take the old seat post out, and then there's one screw that's gonna allow us to remove this seat. You don't have to take the screw all the way out, just enough so you can turn this and pull this out. And then I'm gonna grab this new seat post, loosen this up. All right, so once that's on, you put it back in the seat post tube. Based on your preference, you loosen that up and you can slide this forward or backward until you get the right position and tighten it all up. And so once that's done, this seat now has a suspension post, which will give you a little bit more cushioning. I'm personally not a big fan of these, but you always have this option to install it on other bikes that don't have suspension on them already. So for the backrest installation, you first put these brackets on each side of this. There you go. And the next part of the bracket is these, which just go right here. Just like that, the brackets go on and now they can slide back and forth. Once I get the backrest on, I can adjust these into the actual position I want them in. So finally the backrest goes on just like that. Alright, so the seat is mounted. There's 3 possible locations to put these bolts on. So I've gone for the middle one. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to go ahead and put the seat post at the height that I like. Let me go ahead and tighten that and then see how it feels. So at this point I would just kind of play around with it and get it at the exact spot where I want it. But right now it feels good. I really like the support from this backrest. It feels nice. So you use yet another bracket, except with this bracket, you install it this way, using the same 4 bolt holes as that other one. Be careful with this. It is spring loaded and it will try to jump at you. So I'm having kind of a hard time figuring out how to get the angle on this right. I have the seat pushed all the way back. I have the chair fairly inclined. I brought the handlebars closer and still my feet are too close to the pedals. I don't see any way to raise this seat. That's what would make the most sense for me. Just for reference, I'm 5'10" and I find that this seat is putting my legs too close to these pedals and it doesn't seem like there's anything I could do about it. So that really sucks. If you're 5'10" or even 5'8", I don't really know if this will work. I don't know if maybe I just have long legs. But yeah, when ordering this premium seat, be a bit careful because it puts your body very close to the pedals. It makes the whole thing very awkward. And last thing, just to finish this video off, this bike also came with this container. It's a pretty simple, it's got a lid, snap buckles, and the whole thing is collapsible. And just like that, the whole thing's pretty compact.
Overall, I had a lot of fun riding this bike. It's quite novel. I keep calling it a bike, but it's really a trike. It's just a unique experience and is definitely for a certain audience. Like I said, if you're looking to go fast, this is probably not for you. It has the ability to go fast, but the moment you want to make a turn, you have to slow way down. That's just the nature of a trike. If you are looking for something comfortable with lots of cargo space just to get around town, this is a really good option. When riding at low speed, this feels like a safer way to commute. You're on a pretty big vehicle, you take up a lot of space, and the chance of a car not seeing you is much lower. Cars are much more likely to see you, and because of that, you're safer. The only thing I wish this bike came with was turn signals. It is available as an accessory that you can install, but it's not a default feature. And my main gripe with this trike is that it was kind of complicated to install. Compared to a regular e-bike, this took about twice as long and required a good amount of effort. Also, as I mentioned, the premium seat just didn't feel comfortable to me. Even at the furthest position, I found that my legs were too long and I could not comfortably place them on the pedals. So that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and if you want to see me modify this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.